Thank you. Please like, share and subscribe our channel. Now we are going to read third chapter of the book How to Think Bigger, Aim Higher, Get More Motivated and Accomplish Big Things, written by Meadows, Martin. Chapter 3, Chimp versus Human, How Your Primal Brain Prevents You from Thinking Bigger. Life would be easy if all we had to do to achieve our goals was to come up with a vision, think about it every single morning and act on it. However, it's not that simple. We often get in the way of our goals. Neuroscience shows that there are several parts of our brain that affect our decision-making process. In his book The Chimp Paradox, sports psychiatrist Steve Petters simplifies a human brain to three main parts: the chimp, the most primal, emotional part of the brain; the human, the rational side of the brain; and the computer, the part governed by the chimp and the human, responsible for automatic behavior. These three parts have a huge influence on your decision-making process. What your chimp loves the most, the side that stands in your way when you want to achieve big goals, is the chimp, the primal part of the brain that makes decisions based on emotions. One of the things your chimp loves the most is safety. It sounds weird to talk about you like two different persons, but that's exactly what we are. If you want to change your life, you need to understand how these two sides of your brain affect you. The chimp is constantly on the lookout for new dangers. The more vulnerable it feels, the more paranoid it becomes. Since the chimp doesn't operate rationally, it quickly jumps to conclusions and thinks in black and white. Next to reproduction, the second most important objective of the chimp is self-survival. It's for this reason that it often sabotages us and prevents us from working on the big goals. It perceives challenges as dangers. Starting a business can be scary. Your chimp will consider it a danger and try to keep you away from acting on this goal. Whenever you catch yourself thinking, "I feel it's too dangerous," it's probably your chimp at work. This primal part of your brain doesn't like any changes that require effort. It loves comfort. Even waking up earlier or losing weight, both of which can tremendously benefit you in the long term, will be considered by your chimp as threats. Discomfort is not your chimp's friend, even if the human part of your brain knows how transformational short-term discomfort can be. If you want to reduce the negative influence of the chimp on your decision-making process, you need to understand how to calm it down. Number 1 technique to calm down your chimp. Since your chimp is so dependent on its emotions, the primary way to manage it is to let yourself feel the emotions, acknowledge them and reason with them. We often keep the emotions boxed in and don't voice them, and thus we are never able to correctly identify them and deal with them. Petters writes in his book that whenever thoughts such as "but I feel" or "I don't feel like" pop up in your mind, it's usually your chimp, not your human you. Many choices in our lives are unpleasant in the short term, but more than worthy in the long term. A 30-minute dental visit isn't on anyone's list of fun things to do, but the short-term pain is worth it. It helps us prevent long-term excruciating pain, worsened health, and a scary smile. You can calm your chimp down by speaking to it logically and explaining what will happen if you try to avoid the short-term discomfort. Let's say you want to start a business, but a fear of failure prevents you from doing it. What is the underlying emotion? Are you afraid of failure because people will laugh at you? Is it because you are afraid you lose self-confidence? Or perhaps you are afraid you lose financial security? Whatever the deep reason is, until you discover it, you won't be able to manage your primal part of the brain and stop worrying. Once you voice all these emotions, You'll be able to address them one by one to put an end to self-sabotage. Reasoning with the logical part of your brain will help you reduce the emotion that causes fear and prevents you from acting. While performing this practice just once isn't likely to produce permanent results, repeating it several times should be enough to handle it. Here is an example from my personal life. For a long time, I was afraid to launch any business that required more than a small amount of money to start. My reasoning was that the risk was too high. I was afraid of losing money, so I would pass on every business opportunity that required a bigger investment, even if there was a high chance of success. Once I acknowledged this fear, I could manage it by reasoning. Would starting a business requiring a higher investment ruin me financially? It would, but only if I made a stupid decision and invested all I had. If I set aside enough savings, my fear wouldn't be so crippling. Was it 100% certain I would lose the money? It wasn't. In most cases, it's possible to at least break even or lose perhaps 50% of the invested money, but not 100%. By making a list of possible outcomes and actions I could take to reduce my losses, say, closing a business if I lose more than 50% of the initial investment, I could once again reduce my fear. Reward the chimp. Another technique you can use to reduce the negative influence of your primal part of the brain is to promise yourself a reward after doing something that the chimp considers threatening or uncomfortable. Let's say you want to start waking up early, as you believe it will help you improve your productivity and accomplish your big goals. The chimp obviously doesn't feel like doing it. It's a change of the routine and painful at that. However, if you promise it a reward, say, a big cup of coffee or tea, it will help you get up. It's all about manipulating your emotions and coming up with short-term rewards that will recoup the pain of the short-term uncomfortable task. It also works because you'll start associating the painful act with something pleasurable. You can also use the exact opposite of a reward, threaten your chimp with something worse if you don't perform a given action. When not making the change will be associated with pain, you'll be more motivated to make it. Let's continue the example of waking up early. The primal part of the brain finds this change threatening, so instead of helping you get up, it will tell you to nap for just a while longer. However, if you threaten it with a worse danger, say, you'll have to pay your friend $50 if you don't report to him by 6:15 a.m., the chimp will want to minimize the pain and help you get up. Replace emotional thinking with routines. In addition to the human, rational side of the brain and the primal, emotional side of the brain, we possess a part of the brain that is responsible for automated behaviors, the computer. Both the chimp and the human can influence this part of the brain. That's how enabling and limiting beliefs come to life. Let's say that you start a business and lose money you have invested in it. The chimp, thinking in black and white and always putting its survival as the priority, will put an instruction, a limiting belief, forth that starting a business is associated with losing money. The human, on the other hand, can put an instruction forth that business requires investment and it takes several tries to get it right. If your chimp wins, you'll be scared to start another venture. The good news is that you can identify your current disabling beliefs that prevent you from realizing your full potential. Just note down your beliefs and ask yourself if they serve your goals. If not, they are limiting. The process of eliminating negative beliefs and reinforcing the enabling ones is covered in Tony Robbins' books Unlimited Power and Awaken the Giant Within. You owe it to yourself to read these books. Below the layer of automated behaviors lies your personal philosophy, your most important values and truths that are unbendable. These core rules will guide your life and either help you achieve your goals or hinder your growth. Consider writing down your personal philosophy. You can do it by making a list of your most important truths in life that you are going to follow no matter what. Here are a few of my own truths that guide my behavior in life. 1. I never give up on anything that's important to me. 2. I don't care what anyone thinks about me. The only approval I need is my own. 3. Time is my most important asset. I always focus on achieving more with less. 4. I'm always honest. Lying is for cowards. 5. I always think carefully before making any promises because I always keep my word. 6. Growth happens outside comfort zone. Security leads to mediocrity. 7. I refuse an ordinary approach because I want to live an extraordinary life. 8. Nothing is impossible for a man who refuses to listen to reason. 9. Abundance is all around me. Scarcity is the mindset of the poor. 10. If it's not fun, I don't do it. If I have to, I find a way to delegate it. These simple statements guide my life decisions and make it easier to deal with self-sabotage. You don't struggle with making a decision about giving up if you have a clear rule that states when you can't give up. I strongly suggest rereading your rules along with rereading your vision. If you know them by heart, many decisions in your life will be much easier to take, including decisions that can help you achieve big goals. Chimp versus human, how your primal brain prevents you from thinking bigger. Quick recap 1. There are 3 parts of the brain: the chimp, the most primal, emotional part of the brain, the human, the rational side of the brain, and the computer, the part governed by the chimp and the human, responsible for automatic behavior. 2. The chimp loves security. It will prevent you from setting and working on big goals because it will feel threatened by them. The primal part of your brain puts self-survival as the most important thing, right after reproduction. 3. The most effective way to manage your chimp is to let yourself feel the emotions it feels, acknowledge them and reason with them by using the logical part of your brain. 4. Rewarding yourself or threatening yourself with a danger bigger than the short-term pain will help you motivate yourself to work on your goals. It's all about associating the painful changes with pleasure and maintaining status quo with pain. 5. Replace emotional thinking with routines that empower you. Both the chimp and the human can put the instructions in your computer, but it's usually the human who puts in the enabling beliefs that can change your life for the better. 6. Write down your personal philosophy, the core values and truths that guide your life. They will make it easier to make the right, empowering decision. Thank you. Please like, share and subscribe our channel. Have a nice day.